My girlfriend announced that her former boyfriend required accommodation and would be joining us. I simply agreed with a nod. Then I gathered her belongings, replaced the locks, and messaged her ex with the new location. The sidewalk outside my home. Instantly, my phone began ringing nonstop with her furious calls. I, a 32-year-old man, continue to experience a tight feeling in my gut whenever I recall it. Yesterday evening, I was experimenting with a fresh pasta recipe. Already somewhat anxious since I'm far from an expert cook. My girlfriend, Stephanie, 29F, strolled in, her phone glued to her ear, chuckling over whatever was being said. She ended the call, smiled widely at me, and then mentioned it offhandedly. "Hey," she remarked, grabbing an olive from the counter. "So, Justin's dealing with a real mess. His upcoming rental agreement fell apart completely. A huge problem for him. In any case, I informed him he could stay here temporarily, only a couple of weeks, perhaps a month or two, until he figures things out." Justin, her previous partner, the one she dated for 3 years, the one whose name still surfaced with awkward frequency. My brain just froze. That loading symbol? It was rotating endlessly. I believe I paused mixing the sauce. For a solid 30 seconds, the sole noise was the bubbling garlic. The term "okay" escaped my lips, felt remote, even to my own ears. I was striving for composure, but I likely appeared shocked, like a deer in headlights. "Okay, sweetie?" She even clapped her hands together. "Oh, fantastic. I knew you'd be fine with it. You're amazing, Brandon. He's planning to arrive tomorrow afternoon." She kissed my cheek quickly and went off to shower, humming a tune. Amazing. I felt like the ultimate fool. My hands were trembling slightly. This hadn't been a conversation. It was an order. For a brief moment, I remained there, pasta neglected, pulse racing. What had just occurred? How could this be acceptable? My initial urge was to yell, to chase after her, to insist on clarification. But then another idea sliced through the fear, a firm determination. This wasn't open to debate. This was a huge warning sign evolving into a blaring alarm. As soon as I heard the water starting, I acted. Not in a dramatic movie way, more like someone carefully handling an explosive with a countdown. My breathing was rapid and shallow. Suitcases from the closet's upper shelf, they felt heavier than before. I began tossing her items inside. It wasn't organized. Garments wrinkled up. I almost included my own navy sweater before noticing. Bathroom essentials. I paused over her pricey facial cleanser, then simply threw it in. Is this excessive? Am I losing it? The question lingered, but the vision of Justin relaxing on my couch in my territory drove me onward. It required almost 3 hours, not 2. My back hurt afterward. I discovered items I wasn't aware she owned. I wound up with 3 suitcases, 2 overflowing carryalls, and a random assortment of footwear. I certainly missed some things. Certain items blended with mine, and in my mildly frantic condition, I realized I couldn't organize everything flawlessly. I just concentrated on the evident ones. The locksmith. I contacted 3 until I located one available within a few hours on a weekday night. It was pricier than planned, emergency rates evidently. When he showed up, he eyed me doubtfully. "You the main tenant, buddy?" I displayed my rental contract on my phone, my identification. He nodded and started the job. It seemed to drag on forever. Her luggage waited near the entrance. I held off on messaging Justin right away. My hands remained unsteady. How did I even possess his contact? Then it hit me. Stephanie had borrowed my phone months back to reach him when hers was dead, and his number was likely still hidden in my list. Took a solid 5 minutes of searching and speculating. Located it as Justin X. Her entry, not mine. I hauled the bags to the sidewalk, feeling vulnerable, as if every neighbor was observing. Took a hasty, unclear picture, forwarded it to him. "Stephanie's evidently relocating with you. Her possessions are at my sidewalk location. She appears to believe you'll be excited." My heart pounded. This was the moment. Then I returned indoors, secured the fresh deadbolt, and collapsed on the sofa, the rush finally crashing over me. It wasn't much time before my phone erupted. Stephanie the Furious voicemail, one after another. It was primarily yelling. Stephanie the Furious missed call 23 and rising the furious message. "Brandon, what the hell is this? My bags? On the road. Are you unhinged?" Stephanie the Furious message collect. Immediately, "Justin is losing it. You can't pull this." Unhinged? I was the unhinged one? I drew a deep, uneven breath. This would be an extended night. ITA for this? Perhaps. But for refusing to accept my girlfriend's ex as an unannounced housemate? I don't believe so. Update 1, roughly 18 hours afterward. It's the following afternoon. I appear as if I've battled wild animals. Hardly rested. The phone was unyielding. So the sidewalk drop-off wasn't received well. No surprise. Stephanie arrived around 1:30 a.m., not merely knocking but pounding with her foot. Justin accompanied her, appearing as though he wished the ground would open up. He kept attempting to interject, likely to soothe her. But she was a storm of rage. "Brandon, open up this instant. This is my house too, you lunatic." My voice quivered a bit when I replied through the door, attempting to sound resolute. "Stephanie, this is my residence. It's under my rental agreement. You declared Justin was joining us without any input. I didn't consent. Your items are with him now. Kindly depart." More yelling. Claims of me being abusive, domineering, a beast. It hurt, I admit, even knowing it was her redirecting blame. Justin eventually pulled her away after about 20 minutes, but not before she screamed that she'd return with authorities. I remained awake another hour, startled by every noise, certain she'd come back. Her close friend Amanda phoned around 3 a.m. She seemed truly confused. "Brandon, Steph just contacted me, completely distraught. She claimed you discarded all her belongings and swapped the locks. What occurred? This doesn't seem like you." I was drained, but I attempted to outline it. She informed me yesterday night her ex, Justin, was joining us. No conversation, just a statement. I wasn't all right with that, Amanda. So yes, I gathered her things. Amanda went silent. Then she said, "Justin was joining? Simply informed you?" Essentially. A lengthy exhale. "All right, wow, Brandon. That's an awful approach from her. I understand your anger, but evicting her that way, it's severe." She didn't entirely blame me, but she wasn't completely supporting me either. Understandable. This morning, the messages restarted. Requests for access. She enumerated items she required immediately. My costly French press. It's a simple one I purchased. My office laptop adapter. I suspect she's planning to accuse me of hindering her employment. The nice teapot. And all my crucial papers. The papers concerned me. I absolutely hadn't noticed a particular collection. But what if something critical was inside a volume I packed? I responded via text. "Stephanie, I gathered what was obviously yours. If there are particular, truly vital items you think remain here, provide a precise list via Justin. I will search for them when possible, and if located, I can place them in the building entrance for him to retrieve." "You are not entering." I had to block her contact after that. The responses were becoming nasty. My friend Dave, who's a paralegal, I phoned him this morning, not last night in haste. He was more guarded than I wanted. "Listen, dude, she's not listed on the rental, so that's positive for you. But do-it-yourself removals can become complicated. Even if it's your spot, and she pays no official rent. She's resided there 6 months. A spiteful person could attempt to claim she gained residency, create issues. Did she receive mail there? Pay toward any utilities, even casually? I verified she got mail there, and sometimes purchased food supplies." Dave grimaced. "It's likely okay, particularly since she attempted to install someone else without permission. But it's not no risk. Record everything. Save all messages. If she arrives with officers, stay courteous, present your agreement. Describe she was trying to bring her ex in without approval and that you've proposed returning any necessary personal belongings." He didn't reassure me as much as I'd desired, just increased my worry. Around noon, Justin messaged me. Unexpectedly courteous. "Stephanie is requesting a list of items. Could you inform me when you may check?" No regret, no recognition of the chaos he contributed to, but at least it wasn't hostile. The presumption is one aspect, but the idea of potential legal issues, however minor the chance, is disturbing. And I know I didn't gather every last item of hers. Some of her volumes are still on the shelf, intermixed with mine. This is anything but resolved. Update 2. Roughly 4 days afterward, it's been several days of ongoing conflict. Stephanie hasn't attempted forcing the door again, but the influence effort is active. First, her sister, Rebecca, phoned. Her voice was full of letdown, combined with firmness. "Brandon, I am appalled. Really. Stephanie is devastated. She said you experienced some sort of episode. Discarded her out with nothing. She's at Justin's and it's a small space. She says he wasn't prepared for her to actually reside there, just temporarily. What's happening? She noted something about her work laptop adapter being kept captive. I attempted to share my perspective. The ex joining. The absence of dialogue. Rebecca heard me, but I could sense she was viewing it through her protective sibling view. Brandon, even if there was a mix-up regarding Justin, and Steph acknowledges she managed that poorly, your response was drastic. She's your partner, and now she's claiming you're retaining her items she requires for her career. That's simply mean. She wasn't accepting my view readily. She proposed mediation. I declined courteously. Then the item inventory came through Justin. It was extensive. Besides the adapter and teapot, it encompassed things like my portion of the quality olive oil, honestly, the azure vase from the living area, a present to me from my aunt, and half the herb collection and vital correspondence she now insisted was absent. This was becoming absurd. I dedicated an evening carefully inspecting the residence. I located some of her correspondence, mostly advertisements, but a few financial statements I'd set aside for her real worn teapot, and the meaningful throw cover she'd referenced previously. I uncovered a few additional books of hers, no trace of her work laptop adapter, but I did locate an outdated general one of mine. I placed these into a container. I messaged Justin he could collect it from the mail area, and explicitly noted which items were inside and that her work adapter wasn't there. The online posts began discreetly, vague melancholic updates from Stephanie about sudden conclusions and faith being shattered. Then a somewhat sharper one from a friend of hers I hardly know, about certain men unable to cope with confident women taking charge. The major disclosure, however, originated from an unforeseen person. One of my coworkers, Sarah, who is acquainted with Stephanie loosely through some old university link. Sarah approached me near the coffee station, appearing uneasy. "Hey Brandon." Odd inquiry. "But is all well with you and Stephanie? Because I learned something. My cousin knows Justin's former housemate, the one who recently left. Evidently Justin wasn't in trouble at all. His housemate departed, and Justin was seeking someone to assume the room to reduce costs. He'd been persuading Stephanie to join him there for some time." My mouth nearly dropped. The rental collapse tale was entirely invented. They weren't merely arranging for him to stay briefly. They were possibly testing a fresh cohabitation setup. Or more concerning, Stephanie was intending to join him, and this was some strange, scheming shift. This wasn't mere presumption. This was deliberate falsehood. That detail altered my stance. It strengthened my determination, but also left me nauseous. I captured an image of Sarah's subsequent message where she verified the specifics. She confirmed again with her cousin, apologetic for the discomfort. I haven't distributed this broadly yet. I did send Sarah's details quite objectively to Amanda, just noting, "Figured you ought to know this background." Her response was simply, "Oh my God. Really?" She seemed stunned. Stephanie is now attempting to enlist shared acquaintances to urge me to permit her back in merely to converse or retrieve the remainder of her vital things. The vital things inventory appears to expand every day. My mind is reeling, attempting to monitor her claims and what's factual. The tension is certainly affecting me. My rest is ruined and I'm surviving on caffeine. Final update, approximately 3 weeks afterward. It's been nearly a month since OK Gate. The situation is calming, but not in a smooth, orderly manner. Stephanie's effort to portray me as the antagonist encountered a significant obstacle when the reality about Justin's housing circumstances began to emerge, mainly after Amanda challenged her. Amanda phoned me a few days after I forwarded her Sarah's details. She was upset with Stephanie. She deceived everyone, Brandon, about Justin's rental, about the reason for his stay. She even attempted to distort it to suggest you misread. "I'm truly sorry I paused in fully trusting you." Evidently, Stephanie had an outburst when Amanda exposed her. Rebecca, Stephanie's sister, has been tougher to sway. After I dispatched her a meticulously phrased email including the image from Sarah and a photograph of the container of items I had sent back, encompassing Stephanie's real teapot and the correspondence, she phoned me again. She was less blaming, more torn. "Brandon and I don't know what to believe. Stephanie is my sibling. She's chaotic. She insists you're altering facts, that Justin is mixing up the narrative. But that proof is difficult to dismiss." She didn't say sorry, but she ceased insisting I allow Stephanie entry. Last I heard from Amanda, Rebecca was pushing Stephanie toward counseling. Minor positives. Legally, no developments. My paralegal friend Dave's careful guidance left me anxious for a week, but Stephanie never truly involved the police. Or if she did, they never arrived or reached out to me. The warning was likely empty, a bluff. The requests for her portion of shared items, olive oil, gradually faded into resentful quiet after I disregarded a few messages sent through Justin. I did permit Justin one additional overseen trip to the entrance to gather another modest container of volumes and trinkets I'd identified that were clearly hers, simply to conclude it. It was uncomfortable. He avoided eye contact. The nice teapot, my mother's, remains mine. Stephanie dispatched one final, extended, wandering email relayed by Justin since I still have her blocked, about how I'd ruined her belief in partnerships, how that teapot represented our future unknown to me, and how I was obligated to reimburse her for emotional pain and moving expenses. I removed it without responding. The consequences for Stephanie and Justin, based on what Amanda has shared unwillingly. She's attempting to step back from their issues. They continue cohabiting. But it's reportedly miserable. The falsehood they constructed their new setup on, along with the strain, since the scheme to exploit my place as a cost-free option collapsed, has rendered things extremely strained. Justin, it appears, is not pleased to be sharing with an unstable Stephanie who faults him for much of the problem. You harvest what you plant, I suppose. For me, it's been a journey. I'm not simply okay. The initial week, I operated on fury and excitement. The next week, I experienced a massive surge of weariness and, truthfully, sorrow. It's a terrible sensation to discover someone you valued could be that scheming. I've struggled concentrating at my job. My residence felt oddly vacant for a time, and not positively. I located a left-behind shirt of hers beneath the bed last week and just felt weary. I'm gradually taking back my area. I rearranged the furnishings. I'm attempting to resume a regular schedule. It's not a clear victory. It's untidy and it caused wounds. But the other path, permitting her to trample me and install her ex into my home, that wasn't viable. So justice? It wasn't a victorious, film-like conclusion. It was the gradual, wearing outcome of their own decisions. They selected their paths, founded on deceptions, and now they're enduring the results. My retaliation was merely refusing to join their fantasy anymore and safeguarding my own well-being, however flawed. It's not a joyful conclusion, but it's an authentic one, and I'm gradually, very gradually advancing. Thanks for hearing me out, Reddit.